2. Happy people urgently want to stop suffering. Let's discuss the suffering you keep hidden within yourself. Just because it's hidden doesn't mean it's not there. I call it the hidden world of silent suffering. Inside, we're playing hide and seek with happy thoughts. We stress because we start complaining about life. Whatever works for us, we take it for granted, and instead we concentrate on what's missing in the picture. This complaint is mostly done in private. We wouldn't dare to talk about the amount of stress that runs through our blood. Yes, I suffered in my cage, and you suffered over there too, and probably someone next door is hiding another kind of pain. If we would all meet up, we literally all would think no one would notice our stress levels. You might think no one notices your silent suffering when you walk into a room. But even if you're just complaining to yourself, it sends out an energy that others can feel. When you leave a room, you leave behind more than just a smell, but also a frequency. You leave a vibe. I used to suffer silently, Ananda, while I was trapped in my cage, and it was far from peaceful inside of me. I watched you, and even though you were free to go anywhere, you seemed caged too. We never really talked about it, Ananda, but deep down we were both miserable in our situations. At one point, we felt bored, trapped, and unexcited about life. Yet we pretended everything was fine. The key to breaking free was always within our reach. It was just to finally make the decision to stop suffering silently. I stubbornly wanted to stop being miserable. Was that really that hard? It was as if I had an inbuilt program of misery playing out on default in my mind. People marry each other and promise to love all their lives. So I thought I should marry myself and promise myself to always give myself a better thought when needed. I even did a little ritual with myself. I walked down the aisle, signed a paper with myself, and started dating myself through my life in the cage. I started waking up as if I was already free. I visualized soaring over the highest mountains, finding the best food, and just being completely content with my existence and the possibilities in front of me. You held the key to the cage, but I started holding the key to a strategy that just made me happy every single day, no matter where I was. The real question was, who felt the urgent need to break free first of us, you or me? It looked like I saw the reality of our cage situations first. From the outside, we probably looked like surfers drifting through life. Why did we accept the common belief that constant happiness is unattainable and impossible? Who was the misguided fool that started this widespread belief that certain things are impossible? Maybe it was the first people on Earth, or did it just become a thing by itself? The seemingly small opinion severely diminished my quality of life and probably of the whole human race. If someone were watching us from another planet, just for fun, they probably wouldn't make sense of this common belief we have about happiness. They would see that in our daily routines, happiness wasn't a priority. Our to-do lists always came first, consuming all our energy. They would probably be sitting there, waiting for us to finally think outside the box, step back from our routines, and devise a new strategy. So I started to let go of my own to-do list for a while, trusting that I could catch up with it eventually. I must tell you, I felt much more free while relaxing more. I sang in the evenings, not the mornings, which suited you perfectly since you weren't an early riser either. I danced at dusk and meditated on my swing. From the outside, my life seemed easy. What did I have to complain about? But to me, it felt like a life sentence. I really wanted to absorb any information about happiness. The typical story of a caged bird would have been about a beautiful bird swinging on a golden perch, gazing into the distance. But it also meant that birds wouldn't be searching for worms, free flights, and finding true love at waterholes, or building nests in the wild. It was a life sentence, end of story. No laying eggs, no excitement, and no peace. You know that I'm grateful that my story took a twist. I was fortunate not to succumb to the monotonous reality of a caged bird or a human. I knew I had the power to shape my own life. Life is full of miracles that you, Ananda, haven't discovered yet. Most of them are right in front of you and ahead of you, not behind you. Many miracles remain unopened because of ignorance. I just knew my miracles still lay ahead. I envisioned myself flying freely both in the mind and with my wings. I saw this vision come to life where I was free both inside and out, with everything being in harmony. And what I could already envision would eventually come true. There's no other way according to the law of attraction. Ananda, being caged by you was at least a fortunate occurrence in my case. I've heard stories of other birds who weren't so lucky in cages. They had a lot more to complain about. Birds aren't only trapped for their beauty, but also for their body. Sometimes humans get hungry and love to have their prey lined up. They love the taste of our wings, legs, and breasts. With humans, you never know if you'll suddenly become their enemy. Have you noticed that none of us, whether wild animals or not, trust you? We've observed your behavior for a while. We know you have two sides that you can switch between in the blink of an eye, and then you devour everything you can find. I learned that you particularly enjoy the taste of grilled meat, chicken legs, and back pieces of any animal, so humans have to be handled with care. After hearing all the barbecue stories, I realized you can even turn against each other. You don't eat each other, but you do kill each other. As I have already said, humans can be very dangerous, but they're also so cute. Even though you chop up animals, you're still great philosophers and inventors, and if approached correctly, even friends and sources of inspiration. This paradox didn't help me find my inner peace while caged in front of you, Ananda, but I had no other choice than to examine the whole situation I was in and what this computer was telling me about the rest of the world. Interestingly, you were neither my friend nor enemy, you were just my owner. We never became friends because you were too busy maintaining your world. You remained my servant, and we never found the time to see eye to eye. While you were busy and I was bored to death, I discovered a loophole back to paradise. And this situation brought me luck in expressing myself to myself, upgrading my lifestyle, and maintaining a constant inner smile. In the end, my situation turned out to be great. Now I understand that every situation has its ups and downs. Nothing in life is all good or bad. Initially, I only saw the threat, the fear, and the problems. I was terrified that you would eat me, but eventually I relaxed when I realized that you preferred eating other animals and only admired my feathers. I was here just for your entertainment. That realization gave me a chance to breathe deeper and reflect on the life of a bird. I looked myself up and down and I came to the conclusion that I'd only be a small appetizer for you anyhow. I do think that my beauty saved me. The colors of my feathers saved me. Whoever designed them, I owe them a big thank you. The feathers allowed me to find my own happiness, a rare gift, it seems. I was glad you just found me cute and that you were busy enough to leave me alone so that I had time to discover the journey to happiness all on my own. I must admit, I also found you cute, but I noticed you were dependent on so many things to feel good. You spent a lot of energy maintaining your cage and mine, which left little room for new thoughts to enter your mind. I saw that you humans live in many cages and boxes, and your thoughts are probably trapped in boxes as well. You sleep in boxed beds, drive boxed cars, go to boxed schools, and watch entertainment on boxed screens. You play in boxed fields. Even your shopping and mail comes in boxes. It's a wonder that planes aren't box-shaped, but round. I bet you would love boxed planes. But then, like we birds, you wouldn't fly. From birth in hospital boxes to lying down in a final box, you seem to love boxes, fences, and keys, and you spend your time serving your new guard money, another rectangular box. At least your coins are round. When you're not frowning or complaining in a box, you're quite charming. I love those moments when you step out of the limits you've created and show love and kindness to others. When you smile, you break free from your box and smile. That one, at least, is half round. This cage felt like a box too. I couldn't believe that birds die in these cages. Once we die, humans feel sad for a couple of hours before getting a new bird. I didn't want that fate. I had the ability to make decisions every day and hold deliberate opinions, opinions that, if chosen wisely, could lead me to happiness. And I needed that happiness right now. I needed new opinions about life. Since no one was coming around to share great ideas, I had to read and reflect as much as I could while I was here. I grew tired of the same old situation and decided to get honest with myself and my own needs before it was too late. Few birds or humans feel the urgency or need for change to pursue happiness. I would say 10 out of 1,000 people make a happiness revolution for themselves and their families. And probably only one of those 10 really feels this happiness in their heart. Was happiness really this difficult to achieve? Is it that hard to find? I was watching you, Ananda. You found it amusing to keep me in this situation, but you forgot that I was also watching you. We both lacked privacy, which is ironic, since privacy is often considered one of the greatest luxuries in the world. Why would a human want to be watched by a bird constantly? However, amidst this situation, I stumbled upon the greatest luxury of all. It wasn't about material possessions or external circumstances. Rather, it was the luxury of feeling my best, the luxury of being me, and really arriving on earth. It meant being content with myself, embracing authenticity, and feeling a spark of excitement inside. It involved having a multitude of options to explore, leading to bliss, ecstasy, and high energy just from thinking alone. Furthermore, it meant devising strategies that empowered me, ensuring I never felt trapped or victimized by my circumstances again. Happiness, I realized, is about feeling fully engaged and entertained by oneself. Until now, my entertainment had been limited to swinging in my cage and watching TV all day, and that wasn't enough. I usually wake up and concentrate on you. When you entered the room, my full attention was on you. But when I started checking in on myself first, the quality of my life improved. I asked myself, who would I be in this world if I lived all by myself without negative thoughts? I guess I'd be very content. So between complaining and finding peace was just a different way of thinking, a thought. When I got the trick, I felt a sense of boundlessness, strength, and readiness to tackle challenges, feelings that surpassed my own expectations each day. And through it all, I could wear a smile on my face, knowing that I was truly living at my fullest potential. And when I die, on the last day, I could pass by the table of God, sit with him, and be so overexcited that we would both break out in laughter. I also thought about reincarnation. My reasoning was that there might be special entry cards for certain places after death. I don't think they let grumpy people into those places. Grumpy people are reserved for Earth to learn lessons. So, as you can see, my desperation to make the best feeling a natural part of my existence, like the skin I wear, was real. I yearned for life to resemble the rejuvenating effects of a daily bath, massage, and fresh bed. Each day I craved to flood my cells with hormones that signaled how magnificent life truly is. I desired every cell in my body to understand when to exude positive energy, when to relax, and when to be free from worries. I sought a life of simplicity with elevated thinking, a life where happiness flowed effortlessly, where whatever lay before me transformed into a source of joy. Furthermore, I had my preferences, nevertheless, but I was also too curious to find out what the universe had lined up for me without my interference. Ananda, your happy list appeared endless compared to mine. At first, it seemed like you needed approval from the outside world to even think about being happy. Maintaining your external circumstances seemed far from easy. The sun had to shine, the dress had to fit just right, a new outfit had to be found for each season, a perfect partner had to arrive with impeccable manners, and work had to flow effortlessly. But deep down, your desire mirrored mine in my cage to experience happiness, that warm, fuzzy feeling of excitement. Why not prioritize happiness from the beginning and let life unfold naturally? Why isn't such a simple approach taught in schools? that you possess everything needed, that you can feel complete already. Who taught you that you are not enough, always on edge, fearful and stressed? Must you fortify yourself with cage bars? There's nothing more beautiful than stepping into the world feeling secure with each stride and leaving your heart open. How about feeling comfortable in your own skin, speaking up and embracing your authentic self in every circumstance? It's an inner journey to confidently explore the world wherever you are, discovering the hidden treasures within your own heart. You humans are an interesting species. You confine yourselves all on your own, and you become so accustomed to it that it becomes second nature. And only when things take a turn for the worse do you even consider the idea of freedom. Now I know that there's a strange sense of security in being imprisoned. It feels paradoxically safe. You believe that freedom and security can't coexist, but I'm here to show you otherwise. Just look over to that cage. Am I not happy and free? Believe me, it's your brain that's locking you up. Even our situation here is like living in a zoo. If you were to observe a zoo and consider all species within, who would be deemed the superior species? Everyone would say that humans are superior. But in what? Complaining? Of course you would select yourself as superior because you're the reigning authority on earth, the one controlling the food chain and rapidly multiplying yourself. You're also the reigning authority manifesting all your wishes. I've watched your life from my cage, as I said, Ananda. With great curiosity, I've observed our zoo-like situation here in your living room, your mating seasons, eating habits, sleeping patterns, but most of all, your levels of happiness. The funny thing was that you could be happy but sometimes decide not to be. So I've decided to make this topic more interesting for you. Happiness is really about feeling free in your wings, on your lips, as a teardrop in the corner of your eye, and in all your toes that are allowed to walk on this earth. It feels like a never-ending love fountain, an overflowing cup of love. No matter who's standing in front of you has the pleasure of experiencing this overflow. My strategy was simple: to find inner joy regardless of circumstances and eventually let the wind carry me to where I was meant to be. Everything happens in perfect timing. The only thing I had to do was help my brain and yours have fun. Your brain wakes up and always thinks something is missing. Now it was my turn to feed it with the proper instructions. I could show it wonder and awe, no problem. Your brain will fetch you a banana from the fridge if you command it, right? So imagine what else it can do if you teach it to find happiness, not just in the fridge, but everywhere.